when people talk about food rations for your 72-hour bag or bug out bag, people put things like freeze-dried food and candy bars and things like that in there. Or you can buy these pre-made 3,600 calorie or 2,400 calorie ration bars that are kind of designed for emergency situations. Now keep in mind, those things have pretty much zero nutritional value in them. They're just made of, you know, flour, sugar, some kind of fat, and some kind of sweet, you know, other kind of sweetener. So I'm going to show you just a really easy way to make your own, especially if you're already a prepper and you have like a food saver or vacuum sealer, and you know, you have some basic knowledge of baking. What I'm going to make here is just a basic recipe that calls for flour, shortening, sugar, cornstarch, honey, and some other kind of flavoring agent. In this case, I'm using vanilla extract. The nice thing about these ingredients is that none of these ingredients need to be stored in a refrigerator or freezer. They're stable in room temperature, and once it's mixed and cooked and vacuum sealed, they will last you know, probably upwards of 5 years, which is about what these pre-packaged, you know, Mylar bag vacuum sealed commercial products also have as a shelf life. So I'm going to make kind of a full batch, which calls for 4 cups of flour, 2 cups of shortening, and let's see, 2 cups of sugar right there, a cup of cornstarch, a cup of honey, and 4 tablespoons of vanilla extract. It's really easy to make. You just pull the ingredients together, mix it up into a dough, and once you've got that dough, just spread it out flat onto a cookie sheet. Bake it for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Let it cool down, and once it solidifies and, you know, kind of hardens up, and they should have a consistency about like a pie crust, and you can cut them up. This batch right here is going to make calorically, those ingredients and those quantities that I mentioned will make about 86 to 8,700 calories worth of food rations. So that is about 3 days of food for 3 people, roughly. Okay, so it's good for families. It's a good recipe for a small family who wants to kind of make their own emergency food ration. So let me go ahead and mix this up and show you what it looks like. First of all, I'm going to get 4 cups of flour. One. You want to make sure you get a big enough bowl so you got room to knead and room to mix after you put all the ingredients in. And I think I'm going to be cutting it pretty close with this size bowl. Okay, that's 3 cups. 1 more cup. You don't want to put stuff into this recipe. You can kind of change things up a little bit. One thing that I thought about adding in is like some peanut butter. Peanut butter is good, stable, long-lasting food that works well at room temperature. So you can try that. Okay, so now I'm going to put all the dry ingredients in first. So next I'm going to put in 2 cups of sugar. Okay. Let's see here. Like I said, this kind of food is it's a little bit more than a cup, so I'll do a little bit less than a cup in this one. Okay, that's 2 cups of sugar, and it doesn't have to be exact. Really, what you're looking for is when you're done is you want you want a certain level of consistency that vacuum seals well. Okay, 1 cup of cornstarch. Okay, that's about right. Okay, so that's all my dry ingredients. And then next, I'm gonna put in this vegetable shortening. As you can see here, this is all empty calories pretty much, but that's exactly what you're gonna need in that kind of emergency situation. You're gonna need energy to sustain you. So some people have, thought about buying the commercially made versions of this to kind of keep as their emergency food for like a 1 month supply kind of food. Buy a whole case of 40 or 20 to 40 of these. You can. I don't recommend it, just because it's not good for you. I mean, you're not going to be able to. I mean, you're going to get sick if you eat this for more than 3 or 4 days. Just like MREs, you're not supposed to eat more than 21 days or more worth of MREs. This is not necessarily good for you to eat for a long sustained period of time either. Okay, so I'm going to put the rest of this honey in there. It calls for a whole cup of honey, which I believe I will probably have in here once I get it all in there. Yeah, because this is a 16-ounce bottle. I have just about half. It's a pleasant sound, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. That's good enough. And then last ingredient is vanilla extract. You can put other kind of extract in here, because the key is you want this to be stable at room temperature. So don't put anything in here that's gonna potentially spoil or go rancid on you. 2, 3, 4. That may seem like a lot, but what's nice about vanilla extract is that it's kind of a preservative, because it has a lot of alcohol in it. Not that the alcohol is going to stay after you cook it, but it is a stable food source. So the reason we use vegetable shortening and not like coconut oil or butter or something like that is because we want it to be more stable. We want it to be long lasting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's kneaded up in here. Nice big, about, I guess, grapefruit or honeydew size dough ball. But this is the consistency you want. Right, kind of sticks together well. There's a lot of fat and sugar content in here, as you can tell. And let's just see what it weighs in ounces. 3 pounds, 12 3/4 ounces. Okay, so like I said, this is going to give you, what was the number? About 86 to 8,700 calories. And we're going to break these down into, once it's cooked, we're going to cut it into bars that are 400 calories each. So this will make roughly 21, 22 bars. So next thing I do is you take a cookie sheet. In this case, I'm using a Pyrex baking tray. Plop it in here and just start spreading it out. You don't have to worry about greasing the bottom, obviously, because this thing has very high fat content. and it will not stick, especially since I'm putting it on a aluminum foil. Just get it nicely distributed. What you want is about maybe about 1 inch depth all the way through. And I think this will give me pretty close to that depth once it's all spread out. Because if you don't spread it out thin enough, the inside might not cook properly. Okay, so about like that. And when it starts cooking, it's gonna flatten out by itself a little bit too. So you really don't have to be too diligent in making sure that this is flat. And of course, you can just, if you had a bigger sheet, you can just flatten it out even more if you want to, and it's going to cook faster. Okay, and like I said, this one, it's going to go in the oven for 25 minutes on 350 degrees. I'll go do that, and when it's done, I'll show it to you guys. Okay, so this is what you end up getting coming out of the oven. You want it to be about this color so that you know it's nice and cooked. I let this cool down for probably a good 15-20 minutes. So it's starting to get firm. It's browner on the edges than it is on the inside. But you can see that it has really high fat content. And that's part of the reason why this is a good energy source for a good emergency food source. You want dense food that has high caloric content, which is what all the ingredients give you, especially the vegetable shortening. But once this completely cools down, it's going to be it's not going to be greasy like this. The vegetable shortening is going to solidify, and when it cools, it's not going to be greasy to the touch. And you cut it up. Like I said, this is a full batch, so with 8,650-ish calories for this entire tray. So this entire tray right here will give you, if you're looking at a 2,400 to 3,000 calorie per day use. No, that's not per day. 2,400 to 3,000 per every 3 days. So let's say it's 800 to 1,000 calories a day. That's about what you'll need to kind of sustain yourself. It's not going to make you full. You're not going to be able to do a lot of heavy lifting and stuff like that living off of this. But 8,650, that's going to be about 10 days, 9-10 days. So this is about 3 days for 3 people is what you're looking at in this tray right here. And then what you do is you cut it up into about 400 calorie bars. So in this one, I'll cut it up to probably 22 portions. Cut it in half, that makes it 2. Cut that in half again, makes 4. And then with each 4, I'll probably cut 5 pieces. And then I'll go ahead and take my vacuum sealer, and you'll see I've got some made right here. Right here, we're talking about, in here, about 2,000 calories for this vacuum sealed package. This is an earlier batch that I made, and it's a little bit thinner, and didn't conform to the exact shape of this tray because I made a smaller batch. But it'll look like this, vacuum sealed up, and this is going to last 5 years. Throw this in your bug out bag, or in the car, in the glove compartment, center console of a car, because you never know what's going to happen to you when you're driving around. Your car might break down in the middle of nowhere, or you may get stuck in weather. Lots of times people have been stuck in a snowstorm, side of the road, and just white out. People can't see you. So you'll have 3 days of supply, and you can grab this, shove it in your pocket, and try to hike out. So either a bug out bag or maybe a get home bag. This is great stuff to have. And since it lasts so long, you don't have to worry about replenishing this very often. And if you can smell this, this smells really good. You can really smell the honey, the sugar, and the vanilla extract in it. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is not something that you're going to want to eat for a long period of time because it won't give you the nutritional values you need. Although, and if you were trying to sustain off of your other preps, let's say you got some Mountain House number 10 cans and freeze-dried vegetables and other things like that, this will be a good supplement to that. You can eat portions of this along with portions of your freeze-dried goods, so it would essentially make all your other preps last a lot longer if you want to go that route. But again, I wouldn't use this as your primary food source if you're trying to do this, if you're trying to sustain off of this stuff for a long period of time. So something like this, 2,000 calories ish. If you buy in bulk, this will cost you about $3 online. Of course, it's all commercially made and nice looking, but this actually, I think this isn't bad. It's a nice, neat little package. And making this yourself, you're probably talking about you're not saving a ton of money just because they buy all the ingredients in bulk. And if you did too, if you bought big Costco portions of this stuff, yeah, you can save a lot of money too. But we're talking about just grocery store, these little 2-3 pound bags of flour and things like that. You're probably looking at maybe $1.50 for a 2 to 3 day portion like that. So if you guys are interested, feel free to make some yourself. I'll go ahead and put the ingredient list down in the description box, and I will overlay that on the video as well for you guys to see. Alright, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.